Hi everyone, welcome back to the 20-minute late stream. No big deal, I was busy. Worry about it someplace else. Okay, well, we've got quite a bit to talk about today. Didn't stream yesterday, so we're going to catch up on what happened then. And we're also going to discuss weird stuff going on with these JP Morgan fellows. Knew we shouldn't have trusted them. They're likely responsible for what we're seeing in Bitcoin's price, and not the green stuff, the red stuff. Um, you're gonna notice a different, a, okay, some different stuff on the chart. Yes, I put volume indicator here because I've started to realize maybe volume is a little important. Something I've learned is even, as prices have been dropping down, I wanted to see where the actual demand was while we were dropping, right? And that was a bit difficult for me to just figure out based on, RSI level is there, support levels are there, but how strong is that support really? We could use that with the volume indicators to kind of figure out how much is being traded during those critical areas. And you will notice during some of them where valid bounces have happened, such as the one at 100,000 that we had over here, there was enough buying going on over here, push the volume up to 1.13 thousand bitcoins in that 4 hours, which you do the math at 100,000, add a couple of zeros there. That's the amount of money that was being traded. But then, as prices continued dropping even lower, there was a lot of buying over here, which made us slow down. Not a lot of volume over here. I'm assuming 15th of November is a Saturday. Just blind guess. Yeah, that was a Saturday. So, easy stuff, am I right? Then, this recent drop, the lowest one that we had, 21st of November, the one where I got liquidated at. Yeah, it was probably the bottom. I got liquidated at the bottom. I know, so perfect, isn't it? But at least, hey, coping mechanism. I'll probably survive with my alts if 80,000 was indeed the bottom. Crazy this journey that we had, dropping from 126,000 straight down to 80,000. We know who to blame. It is JP Morgan and kind of myself. Not that I caused the price drop. I blame myself for getting liquidated because it was avoidable. It was avoidable. And, well, now I'm gonna... I don't know. A small decision cost me a lot. So, what's the next plan here? I have Bitcoin on spot. I'm going to sell it. Matter of fact, I already have a trigger order set right where we are about to hit at our resistance level. I'm assuming we should become overbought around this area and maybe have a bounce lower. I know we've been on the rise, but realistically, we are in an upward channel, which means that if you study price action, what you should expect from this kind of movement is, a bounce like this and then continuation lower. How low? Maybe we test the 80,000 level once again. Why am I using a yellow highlighter now? I don't know. I've looked at my previous streams and it's looking like the blue pen brush, whatever this. I don't know. Tell me what you guys decide, what you prefer. But yeah, anyways, my trigger order is set right there to no, not trigger order. It would be a take profit. No, not even take profit. I'm selling at a loss, but I'm getting money out of it anyway because I would rather use that money to trade it in futures. I gotta recover somehow. So yeah, that's what I'm envisioning right now. This chart pattern, as well as I use this as a resistance kind of deal. The super trend is still in the red at this area, which this is something I drew, by the way, and I posted it. I didn't post it in my Discord. I posted it in some other stupid Discord, but that's fine. So we'll see if it does play out according to what I have drawn over here. Because a couple stuff. Probably gonna have some sell pressure due to the fact that we're approaching resistance area. Okay, I gotta turn off this magnet or something. I don't like it modifying my drawings a lot like that. So this area would likely be a place where a lot of people, myself included, will be taking some profits if they bought this dip or if they do see the fact that RSI will be overbought on the 4-hour chart at least. The fact of the matter is as well that if this does play out to what I'm assuming should happen, where it's basically where we should drop something like this back down to 80,000. I know you guys probably don't like to see that, but keep in mind we are technically in a bear market in the weekly chart, which means you shouldn't really expect Bitcoin to rise that much. That's just technically speaking. Fundamentally speaking, and fundamentals usually beat the technical, fundamentally speaking, we're stronger than ever. We have Texas now buying Bitcoin, if you were not aware of the news. And I will be covering that as well when we get to it. So, I would love for this to start going up. As a matter of fact, I do want it to. But I feel like we're not out of the woods just yet. We just gotta accept that's what it is. This is what the technical analysis is telling us. So, you know, we gotta listen to it. And it would also complete the pattern. What do you even call this? Falling bull, bear flag, something flag, where it just continues lower. And if this does happen indeed, then, you know, whatever downtrend that we have would still be valid because we never broke the 92,000 level where the super trend invalidates. Right now we're still under that red super trend, basically, is what I'm going on. The reason I drew this line here is just to kind of extend. What do I expect, right? I expect it to, you know, stay like this. If we do continue lower, then yes, the super trend line will also go lower along with it, as low as it needs to go. And then however low we get, as long as we break that level, then we'll flip the trend into the green, and I would be in agreement with you that we will not see lower levels from there, hopefully. But we shall see. Because we're still in the middle of developing this chart pattern. So it's going to take a while, of course, before we see any form of confirmation. Now, the reason is I drew Fibonacci from our all-time high to this low point. I don't know if this is going to look pretty. I'm going to go to a daily chart instead. Yeah, this looks better. So this is from our all-time high, 126,000, down to our lowest point, 80,000. The first resistance we see from Fibonacci, 0.236, that happens to be exactly where we are right now, 91,266. The actual number is, will it even show me? 91,323.8, okay? That's just for your reference. Meaning that, yes, I do think we're going to rebound from this price and head back down just a little bit. We're going to retest some other level in between here before we, you know, can have another attempt at trying to break the 92,000 if the super trend does not, of course, drop lower by then, depending on how low that we go, of course. And that way we can confirm the break of the downtrend so we can start seeing levels go higher. So that's what I expect. Hope it makes sense. We're also nearing, you know, RSI overbought. 67, 68 right now. I just said the forbidden numbers. Whatever. So, yep. Apart from that, 95,000 is next resistance if things just absolutely rip. And then you got 98,000, then 100,000 itself, psychologically speaking. Then you got 103,000. I don't think we're going to be seeing that this week. Who knows? Bitcoin's made huge moves. And like I said, fundamentals are stronger than ever. I was expecting Bitcoin to be at maybe 135,000 around this time. Like, if you would have asked me 2 months ago, yeah, November, we're going to see Bitcoin maybe around these levels. You could go check my last streams just to confirm, but yeah. Hey, we hit this level. I might have Bitcoin on spot right now, ready. I'm breaking the script. We're going to go to the spot market here. Do we have the money? What do we got here? Yeah, it's sold. Okay, I have 8,600 USDT. Finally, have some money to trade. And no, I will not do anything stupid with it. I'm not going to buy right now. You'd be out of your mind to purchase Bitcoin right now. Unless you're doing it for long term. This is a killing price. A killer price. And you should not. I'm not a financial advisor. You're going to lose all your money if you follow what I say. Just a disclaimer. But what I do truly think is this should give me the opportunity, right? If I do in fact believe that fundamentals are strong, the cycle is garbage, and we will continue higher in 2026 because of how strong the fundamentals are and that nothing is really in our way. Realistically speaking, what's in the way of Bitcoin? Quantum computing, we don't got to worry about that for the next decade. And then what? Oh no, BlackRock is selling. Okay, maybe MicroStrategy is forced to sell. Sure. They're big companies. They're going to figure it out. And even if they do sell, you got to follow the trends and accumulate spot if you see amazing prices like this. So when we go our way back down over here, if we do see another oversold level, you bet your bottom dollar I will be buying that. How much? Don't ask me. But we'll see. The rest of the money I will start preparing to use for trading. Like actually trading with stop loss, take profit, strategy, that kind of deal. Let's... Man, do I want to use USDT? Do I want to do this? Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, good. So, this means I'm going to have to change all of these back to... Because USDT has more pairs to trade, right? I used to prefer USDC because I was sending money back to the exchanges so that I could cash out. Not that I did anything major with it. I only used a little bit of cashing out at that point, which I'm going to get taxed on for it. But I don't know if I show reports for this. Also not financial or legal advice, but tax loss harvesting. You could avoid taxes like this if you sell at a loss. I was forced to sell at a loss, okay? Not that I wanted to, but I guess I'll take advantage of it now that we're at the end of the year. Okay, there's Bitcoin for you. 91,458. Love it. RSI 68. Nice. Reversal soon, potentially. At around 92,000, I've been calling for that since last week. Minimum since November 22, okay? I've been calling for that level. We'll see what happens, how price behaves at this area. I do think rebound lower. We'll see. But I do think, like, we're not going to make a lower low, so to speak. I don't think we're going to see 80,000. I hope not. Because that would just decimate alts, probably. I don't know. Alts have been behaving appropriately throughout this whole Bitcoin crash, because I would say the reason for the Bitcoin crash had not much to do with alts, but it had to do with JP Morgan, the FUD with MicroStrategy, and just huge sell-offs from ETFs. Pure manipulation. They planned this. They're now planning something good, which is why we're seeing a bit of a recovery right now, and we're going to talk about it when we get to our new section, okay? But in the meantime, a slowdown like this or something, I don't know. Any dip that I'll see is probably the area to re-enter. Where specifically, like I said, I don't know. But we should fill out this pattern. I just hope it doesn't go lower than 80,000, right? Okay, so that's my vision for all this. Let's move on to Ethereum. We're about to flip into a green super trend, which is perfect. This is also matching excellently with the line, the downtrend line. Love it. Also the 3000, a huge crucial level. Everything is just pointing in the right direction for Ethereum right here. This perfect. This is price action at its best. Love it. So if we do in fact close at around these prices, we're at 3065 right now. Up 3.47%. If we do in fact close at these prices, super trend would be as low as about 2,730. We'll round that to. And from there, you know, we could start expecting higher lows, higher highs. Ethereum is probably your first signal for altcoins, maybe potential alt season, to start performing better than Bitcoin. That could definitely be the case here. Bitcoin is not performing well annually speaking. Some of the altcoins, I don't know, depending on which one you look at. It's a bit of a 50-50. A lot of them are not doing well, obviously, due to their inflationary nature, due to the demand not being there. But what ETFs are coming out right now? We're getting a lot of altcoin ETFs. We are expecting a rate cut for December, and even when everybody else, it seemed like the whole world was against me saying we're not going to get our rate cut in December, I was like, yeah, we are. We have to. It's supposed to happen. We will get a rate cut in December. And now, of course, those odds, let's have a look at them. Flashbang warning. Those odds are definitely in our favor. Right? Oh, I love it. Staring at a blank screen. Are we serious here? Okay, let me just save your eyes. There we go. Okay, let me undo this. Flashbang warning again. 84% chance that we see a rate cut. We were literally seeing this like the whole time. What even happened like these past couple weeks where the odds flipped entirely? This was at sub 30% that we would see a rate cut, while it was very likely that we were going to maintain rates. That fast is how we changed our sentiment. And yeah, part of it is the fact that the economic data that is supposed to come out will be delayed until after the meeting, meaning that we will be going into another Fed meeting blind. Not really blind. We do have September data, but it feels like it's too little too late, don't you think? So, whatever. If you want to take advantage of the rise, let's do it. Please, Ethereum close above 3,065. That would be great. Or 3,061, if you want to be exact with the numbers. But yeah, we have the room to do it. We're not really overbought just yet. That could take us to around 3,140. Love it. So it's battling there. Let's hope for the best for it. I want to get rid of this downtrend line, but if it does not, and let's just say for whatever unfortunate reason, Ethereum decides to bounce lower, rebound, and I don't know, do the same kind of deal that Bitcoin was doing with the upwards channel and this flag pattern. What do you even call the flag pattern? All we would have to do is just readjust the downtrend line, like that, and continue our downtrend till however low it takes us. But I don't think that's going to happen here. So let's wait and see what happens. Moving on to Solana. Hey, I forgot to put a book under my mic for padding. I hope it sounds better. I don't know. Solana, we're close to doing the same thing here as well. We could see Solana breaking its downtrend that it has, although this is looking like it's going to take more time compared to the rest because of how distant we are with this downtrend line. Or maybe I should draw another one that's closer. I feel like I might have to, but no, that one would look broken. If I drew one from like here to here, I don't have my magnet enabled anymore, but it's going to look something like that. Yeah, it shows we've technically broken that one already, so I don't think it's appropriate to really use it. We'll see. A lot of stuff that can happen here. $143.47 is what we see for Solana. Am I in here? Yeah, I am. I'm at 171. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for Solana as well, but yeah, crucial area for a lot of these, honestly. We're nearing points of invalidation of the downtrend, which is a good thing, but it's crucial. We got to see if we are able to continue. The movement seems to be like there's not a lot of juice left, but it could. Literally anything can happen right now. How's Hyperliquid doing? Nice rise. I love it. After dropping to $29 for absolutely no reason, I promise you it is no reason. That does nothing. There was no reason. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything. It just decided to crash because, I don't know, it was probably those Aster guys. But yeah, same deal here. We've got enough juice to rise, break 37.21 cents. That should break the downtrend, approach us to this line, and maybe we bounce from 39.22, retest the downtrend line before we can continue higher. Hopefully, that would be the most ideal situation. In the meantime, Supertrend would kind of flip like this. Kind of what we saw with, was it Bitcoin? No. Ethereum. It would have been kind of what we saw with Ethereum. And, you know, you would have your new uptrend line sort of like that. However low it decides to go after breaking this. So we shall see how that plays out. A lot of waiting here. We gotta wait and see what the price decides to do. We're about to enter overnight session, and usually it's not that volatile, except when it comes to maybe liquidating my positions at 2:30 a.m., which, I don't know, market loves to do that, so there's that. BitTensor, different story to be told here. We bounced from this level. We're still technically in a downtrend. Let me enable my magnet. Oh, here we go. Yeah, bounced from this level, meaning that we did not really change our trend just yet. I love that it's above 300 finally. 306 is the current price. But we're not really moving too much today. Seems like the big movement was yesterday. So we're kind of resting here with BitTensor. Different story compared to the rest of them. Still near a critical area of determining whether or not we can continue with the momentum upwards. We shall see. SUI is up 2% today. I was kind of right in the assumption that 160. I thought SUI was $3. Isn't that crazy? 160 would have been an area where it would be difficult to break past, which we hit a high of 161 ultimately. This happened yesterday, and today we're on our way back up again. 157. Can we break it? This was to be expected. Like I said, we needed time, so we're ranging around the top area of the downtrend, meaning that we can hopefully see a break of this downtrend coming soon to a chart near you. I hope it does, because SUI is criminally oversold, right? Underrated is kind of what I was also hinting at, but yeah. So we shall see. Also critical area for SUI. How is Chainlink? Did we flip a trend yet? No. Critical area as well. Everything. Critical area. We're about to flip trends on everything is what it seems like. I'm starting to dislike this volume. I realize it doesn't look that good for altcoins, because it's relatively stable, except for, you know, something like October 10. That just ruins the whole data. Horrible. I hate this. I think I'm going to delete it. There we go. Forget the change in the indicators for now. Maybe I'll bring it back, but I don't know. Yeah, this was a great entry for Chainlink. $11. The signs were there, man. Oversold. Didn't want to pay attention, miss out on the gain. 1376 is what we have to break. The current price is 1353. Overbought could take us to around $14, we'll call it. And yeah, if we are able to close at that area, we can flip the trend over and start expecting higher lows, higher highs. Good. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Aptos is being pathetic. Hasn't moved an inch, except downwards. 229 is the current price. We gotta reach 252, meaning that if the momentum back into altcoins does kick in, you got a guaranteed 10% rise on Aptos. Just saying, not financial advice, but all these oversold areas, and you know, we just keep diverging from it, keep going lower, and becoming less and less oversold. There's the divergence there. Maybe this trend downwards is a little too strong. That's why we're not seeing it rise too much just yet. But when the sentiment changes, and it does change fast, Aptos will be a huge gainer. Negative funding rate still, meaning that more people are still shorting this thing. You get paid, not commission, you get paid funding fee every 8 hours for holding a long position on Aptos right now. It's not a big amount, but it's better than paying that darn thing, am I right? So yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, we keep on rising here. That's good for Bitcoin. 91,679. Can we reach the 92,000 live? 69 RSI. We're really close to 70 plus. We'll see. We'll see how it behaves. Okay, crucial area for a lot of assets today. Love to see it. Negative funding rate on Bitcoin too. Shorts are gonna get wrecked if we are able to break this. Who knows? Okay. I'm getting pretty late here. It's 9:44. My gosh. I started 20 minutes late, okay? Give me a break. 25-minute technical analysis. Dude, you're fine. Time to talk about the news. Like I said, we have some stuff to talk about, so let's commence with what happened yesterday. Yesterday, we got PPI data, Producer Price Index, which measures inflation. We were expecting 2.7% inflation, and it came in at 2.6%, meaning that inflation is less than we expected, meaning that it's easier for the Fed to cut interest rates because they are worried about inflation, but they were also worried about the job market. What do they prefer to balance first? It's probably the job market rather than the inflation. Just look at what happened during COVID. And yeah, the fact that interest rates are pretty low. I mean, interest rates are expected to go lower. We're allowed to, turn on the money printer, get the inflation rising. We have room for inflation to do its thing. And you better be holding assets when the inflation does truly kick in. It's going to take some time. Quantitative tightening ends December 1st. Quantitative easing, rather, starts December 1st. And I'm going to guarantee you guys a rate cut for that December meeting. What other economic data are we supposed to get apart from this? I don't think there's anything really groundbreaking at this point. ISM manufacturing, maybe. Jobless claims on Thursday for November. What? Oh, the 4-week average. Okay. Oh, PCE data, December 5. That's going to be like the final boss of economic data that will either determine whether or not we get a rate cut. And yeah, we're not getting non-farm payroll data for the previous month, right? We're just going straight into the FOMC meeting, December 10. We're also getting projections. Where did I see that? We are actually getting projections. Okay, I did not know that. Hold on. We're actually getting projections for next year. I mean, we should. It's the final meeting. Yeah, duh, it makes sense, right? Where do I see this again? Was it this? Where do I see the... Okay, forget it. I'm gonna have to figure this out later. But yeah. PCE data is the last thing standing in our way. Let's see how that goes. And it's gonna take some time. So from now until whenever that date was, it was in December. December 5, I think. We're fine. We're fine, dude. Okay. Update on Russia-Ukraine. President Zelensky says he's prepared to meet President Trump on November 27, that is tomorrow, by the way, to finalize the peace agreement. Are we getting peace finally? No. The answer is no. Of course, Russia's not going to agree to what Ukraine has counter-proposed. Ukraine only accepts the peace deal by rejecting 3 key conditions, which includes limiting the size of its army, abandoning NATO membership, and making territorial concessions. Stuff that Russia's just not going to agree to if they change that part of the agreement. They want Ukraine to not have a large military, but Ukraine also wants, the security guarantee, which we will still provide them, but I don't know. They don't feel comfortable having a small amount of military personnel. Either way, nobody wants to join the military in Ukraine. It seems like the young men are being forced, from what I've seen, into combat. They have low morale, they're not trained well, they're losing the war. And due to that, they've lost a lot of territory. Ukraine also wants the territory to be given back to them, but I don't think the United States is going to be in favor, not in favor, but they're going to understand that that's just not going to be possible from Russia's point of view, because Russia's like, hey, look, we fought this for 2 years, we captured all this territory. If you want us to end the war, you're going to have to give us this, whatever we captured, which is a majority of one of the provinces, I think, of Ukraine, or I don't know how it's measured there, but yeah, there's that. And also abandoning NATO membership. Ukraine is kind of, they want to make like this backdoor thing on the agreement, from what I understand, where they're like, hey, if worse comes to worse, we can join NATO if we want, if we are allowed to. And Russia's like, no, that is off the table. You're not allowed to join NATO under any circumstances. And the deal that was originally proposed between United States and Russia was explaining practically that, right? That maybe they can join the European Union, or like at least be helped by the European Union, but the NATO membership would be off the table, which is what Russia wants, right? But I don't know why Ukraine is insisting on that. Whatever. The clause on Ukraine not joining NATO is absolutely unacceptable, according to a CNN source. In this way, Russia is attempting to interfere in the internal affairs of the alliance, an organization it is not a member of. Okay. And it's also like weird because there's like 4 parties to this whole thing. You have Russia and Ukraine, of course. You have the United States trying to be the mediator, and you have the European Union, or I guess NATO, because Canada is also involved in there, just being this awkward extra layer to the whole thing, where it's like, okay, what are you guys even doing here? You're just making things harder for everyone. But then they're like, oh no, but seems like United States is siding with Russia too much. We're going to have to have someone side with Ukraine more. And they just end up messing up the whole peace plan proposal. In my opinion, that's the way I see things. Feel free to correct me in the comments with large paragraphs. Speaking of large paragraphs, Trump posted this on Truth Social. Over the past week, my team has made tremendous progress with respect to ending the war between Russia and Ukraine, a war that would have never started if I were president. Last month, 25,000 soldiers died. Unacceptable. The original 28-point peace plan, which was drafted by the United States, has been fine-tuned with additional input from both sides, and there are only a few remaining points of disagreement. I feel like this is just going to amount to nothing, but we'll see. In the hopes of finalizing this peace plan, I have directed my special envoy, Steve Witkoff, to meet with President Putin in Moscow, and at the same time, Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, will be meeting with the Ukrainians. I will be briefed on all progress made, along with Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. Isn't she going to get fired? Or am I thinking of someone else? I look forward to hopefully meeting with President Zelensky and President Putin soon, but only when the deal to end this war is final, or in its final stages. That's why I feel like tomorrow, the 27th, when Ukraine says, yeah, we're going to be meeting up with Trump, when Zelensky says that, I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, especially after this tweet that came out from Trump. The fact that he only wants to meet up with them if it is in its final stages, or it's practically final, the whole peace deal. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Let's hope that peace can be accomplished as soon as possible. Yeah, let's hope. Have you seen what else is happening with this? Greta Thunberg, what are you doing? She painted the whole river in Italy, some river there, in green dye, which is harmless, but is to protest climate change. Like, wow. Too creative, I think. You should, I don't know, watch my streams or something. Relax. Grab a bag of popcorn. Stop ruining society. Greta and her Extinction Rebellion crew poured green dye into Venice's Grand Canal to protest climate inaction. They called the green dye-filled canal protest a form of climate activism, but Italian officials labeled it vandalism-based, and UNESCO raised concerns about potential damage to the historic site. Okay, I hope this actually does wear off and it's not permanent. Surely it's not permanent, right? Whatever. Dressed in red cloaks and veils, they also staged flash mobs and hung Stop Ecocide banners from the Rialto Bridge. They gave them a 48-hour ban from Venice and a $172 fine. That's too cheap. The dye, they insist, was harmless. The city is less convinced. Weird. Okay, Greta. Thank you. Thank you for your service. And also to these soldiers. Crazy thing happened today, apparently. Multiple National Guard soldiers have been shot near the White House in Washington, D.C. There has been at least 3 casualties being reported. The shooter is reportedly still on the loose. I think they captured him now. Law enforcement are racing from all throughout the city. Well, just opening fire on soldiers doing their job. Crazy. But yeah, it seems like they did detain him. President Trump says the suspect who shot the 2 National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C. is severely wounded and will pay a very steep price. I cannot talk today. The animal that shot the 2 National Guardsmen, with both being critically wounded and now in 2 separate hospitals, is also severely wounded, but regardless will pay a very steep price. God bless our great National Guard and all of our military and law enforcement, Trump said on Truth Social. These are truly great people. I, as the President of the United States, and everyone associated with the office of the presidency, am with you. All right. Not cool. Moving on. Pro crypto, Kevin Hassett, whom I've talked about. I think I've mixed his name up in the past. Me when I spread misinformation on the internet. I think I called him Robert Hassett. Whatever. Is that a real person? I swear there was a Robert Hassett. Nope, this is a little random guy. Okay, sorry. Kevin Hassett is the director of the National Economic Council of the United States currently. Seems like he is now the leading candidate to replace our good old man Jerome Powell as Fed chair. I prefer it be Barron Trump, but whatever, man. FYI, Hassett has served on Coinbase's advisory council. That's pretty cool. If he does take the chair, we're looking at a Fed that's not only going to be friendly towards digital assets, but someone who's going to cut interest rates down to 1% potentially, because that is the Trump dream. He wants interest rates cut down to 1%. He's like, look at all these countries cutting multiple basis points throughout the years, and the United States is the latest, the one that has not the least that rate cuts that have ever happened, as economy has been recovering from COVID, to cut the rates, right? Because they had to hike rates because inflation got out of control because we were trying to stimulate the economy during COVID. This is all a whole issue that happened throughout that pandemic. But now we're seeing things kind of regulate themselves. We're being told that prices are kind of coming down. A lot of people disagree, maybe myself included. And I don't know though. Cutting interest rates down to 1%, it's going to start up the inflation a little bit again. I feel like when Trump mentioned months ago that he wanted interest rates cut down to 1%, he might have been exaggerating. It was just a way to like push Jerome Powell to start cutting rates, because every FOMC meeting this year, with the exception of the last 2, have been Powell does not cut the rates. Trump attacks Powell, calls him, what did he even call him? Lazy, stupid, incompetent, too late, all these childish insults to poor Jerome. But I think they're deep down they're still buddies. Mind you, Trump appointed the guy. Trump said that he was told to appoint the guy. He wasn't really sure of what Jerome Powell was all about, but fair enough. This happened in 2018. So whatever. His term will end soon. There's also been rumors that this guy's term is going to end soon. U.S. President Donald Trump is considering removing Kash Patel as FBI director in the coming months. Don't worry, guys, it's fake news. Just huge disclaimer. As he and his top aides have grown increasingly frustrated by the unflattering headlines Patel has recently generated, according to 3 people with knowledge of the situation who requested anonymity in order to speak freely. Okay, so according to anonymous sources, they say that they overheard Trump saying that he was going to fire Kash Patel because he was not content with how it was handling things. I don't know. Some people like Kash Patel, some people don't. I've kind of flipped to maybe not really liking him after this whole Epstein situation. Dude, you're clearly covering stuff up. You gave us a edited Epstein, what was it, the prison cell security footage. Him and Pam Bondi. We feel like they're responsible for covering up the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. But now, after Trump does his 180, it seems like We'll see what happens. But like I said, it's fake news. The whole MS Now stating that Kash Patel might be fired. Carolyn Leavitt said this story is completely made up. In fact, when this fake news published, she was in the Oval Office where President Trump was meeting with his law enforcement team, including Kash Patel. She read the headline to them. The president laughed. He said, "What? That's totally false. Come on, Kash. Let's take a picture to show them you're doing a great job. Do not believe the fake news." And they literally posted a picture. So, no, Kash Patel is safe. But we did talk about other people who may or may not be replaced, and we're looking toward January to maybe get some of those people replaced. Other people in Trump's cabinet. We'll see who it specifically is. Also, guys, I'm spreading way too much misinformation on the internet. Apparently, Doge is still a thing. We thought Doge shut down, Department of Government Efficiency, not the Doge meme coin. Wow, no, it seems like they do indeed exist. They were expected to be a thing until, what was it, June or July of next year. 8 months left to serve in their term, since they were established and created by Elon Musk. After Elon's quit, people thought, yeah, it seems like they're doing nothing. And they literally asked a U.S. White House official about it. They're like, hey, what's happening with Doge? How much money have they been saving? They're like, oh, the Doge? That's not a real thing anymore. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, Doge, Department of Government Efficiency is shut down. And I was a bit upset to hear about that. I was like, no, but what? Come on. Why are we shutting this down? First, the big, beautiful bill, which I understand Elon Musk's frustration over. Him putting in all this work only for Trump to just add more to the deficit. It's counterintuitive, right? And now we're just getting rid of Doge completely. Come on. I was kind of happy when they were shutting down these departments that literally did nothing. DEI stuff. I don't know. I felt like they were doing a good job. No, it seems like it was fake news from Reuters, by the way. Gosh, credible news source, not. President Trump was given a mandate by the American people to modernize the federal government and reduce waste, fraud, and abuse. Just last week, Doge terminated 78 wasteful contracts, saving taxpayers $335 million. See, this is why they're important. It might not seem like a lot, but it's something, right? Compared to the national debt, which is, what is it now, 37 trillion? They're saving 335 million. Sure. Fine. We'll be back in a few days with our regularly scheduled Friday update. So it's real. See, everybody thought, even I thought the news was real. False reporting does real damage. Shame on Reuters. Unfollowed and blocked. Where's the block button? See ya. Okay, moving on. JP Morgan, we're back. Crazy stuff. So something about this Bitcoin sell-off, it felt off. You would agree with me, right? Even I was questioning. Throughout the whole drop, surely we bounce here, right? The fundamentals are too strong. Nope, we're going to keep crashing. Okay, surely here. Nope, nope, nope. We kept on crashing lower and lower. Surely we don't hit 80,000. That's my liquidation price. Liquidated. It was a quiet MSCI memo, JP Morgan hit piece on MicroStrategy, liquidation wave with no clear trigger. Yeah, come on, 2:30 a.m., find a better excuse. Today, a new development dropped that makes the whole picture come into focus. So what happened? MSCI, we talked about January 15th, they're going to be delisting MicroStrategy from the NASDAQ index and the Russell index because they think it's a Bitcoin fund, because they hold over 50% of their company in Bitcoin as a digital asset treasury. And they're like, you're basically a fund. You might as well be an ETF. Like BlackRock. Okay. For firms like Strategy, that's not noise. That's a direct threat to index eligibility and passive flows. Our whole dream of joining the S&P 500 down the drain because it's getting worse now. We're getting delisted from indices, right? It's a lot of sell pressure that's going to happen from that. Look at JP Morgan. Months before the sell-off, they raised margin requirements on MicroStrategy, meaning that it was more expensive to trade on it through JP Morgan. Suspicious. MSTR backed positions from 50% to 95% margin requirement. You were not allowed to leverage too much of their money, like borrow money. You know how margin works, right? 95% margin requirement. 95% of the money is supposed to be yours. rather than 50% what it used to be. Like they would loan you the other 50%. Anyways, client reported delays, also moving shares out of JP Morgan's custody. Small details, but they matter. Seems like this indirect attack from JP Morgan. What is going on? Shortly after the MSCI memo, the unwind began. We started blaming the Binance stablecoin DPEG. You know, people were saying, what happened on October 10? It was unnatural that everything crashed 80%, every altcoin. That doesn't make sense. And I talked about the DPEG the day after it happened. USD Athena, USDE, and Binance. Huge issue there. A stablecoin dropping to 60 cents, that is not good. It's supposed to be at $1 always, right? Huge hit. And that's what was blamed for the crash and why things are still continuing to sell off, because we're still trying to cover up for the losses of that DPEG. But many now wonder if the MSCI memo played a role too. Either way, the October 10 liquidation event set off the panic that followed, right? In the middle of fear, JP Morgan began highlighting the MSCI proposal to clients. A memo that had been largely ignored suddenly became the centerpiece of a MicroStrategy Index risk narrative. Bitcoiners went on the defense. We started trending with the whole boycott JP Morgan, especially after they were closing down accounts of high power crypto people, like CEOs of crypto companies and stuff like that. Even Grant Cardone was a part of this, which I've talked about. All of this was covered by me so far, by the way. Boycott JP Morgan trended. Cardone said he pulled $20 million from them. Mueller's revealed he was debanked. Eric Trump blasted the dishonest financial system on CNBC. We weren't reacting to one memo, they were reacting to years of distrust. And the political backdrop poured gasoline on it. Trump administration has been openly adversarial to large banks and increasingly friendly toward Bitcoin, which makes any gatekeeping move by legacy institutions look intentional. Then Saylor spoke. He said that JP Morgan's warnings alarmist, he called them alarmist, and said that the fears were priced in by a factor of 10, and reminded everyone, banks, accounts, regulators, they all resisted Bitcoin until they couldn't. So Michael Saylor's still holding on to his beliefs. And here's today's reveal. JP Morgan is now preparing a structured bond tied to BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. So you're anti-MicroStrategy, you cause a lot of FUD, and then you're suddenly pro BlackRock on another crypto fund for Bitcoin. Okay. So while pushing MicroStrategy index risk, we're also building a way to profit from Bitcoin, kneecapping the competition before adopting the Saylor playbook themselves. That's the game. Push down the threats, profit from the trend, and Bitcoin keeps winning. Okay, I don't know about keeps winning, but yes, it feels like a targeted strike to undermine Bitcoin's institutional adoption. Whether or not this was a hit job by JP Morgan, it was. A lot of people aren't happy. So yeah, it is real. JP Morgan is launching a Bitcoin-backed product. They filed to launch a leveraged Bitcoin product linked to BlackRock's IBIT Bitcoin ETF. How it works: if IBIT hits a target price in 1 year, it's a guaranteed 16% gain. If they fall below target, investment continues until 2028. By 2028, what happens? If it is up, you get up to a 1.5x return. No cap. What do you mean no cap? No limit, I guess is what they mean. If you are down less than 30%, you get the principal money returned to you. And if you're down more than 30%, losses beyond that. What do you mean losses beyond that? Purpose is to harvest volatility, extract fees, and position before retail reacts. This is a major step in JP Morgan's push into Bitcoin integration products. So now they're suddenly pro-Bitcoin. Okay. So JP Morgan sells shares of MicroStrategy. Yeah, by the way, they did do that. They profited off the downfall of MicroStrategy and Bitcoin along with it. Seems like we're slowing down here. They increased the margin requirements, which we talked about. They pushed for Strategy's exclusion of the MSCI index. They have a history of manipulating Bitcoin's price. They're calling for lower prices, waiting for 35% drawdown, and then they announced the Bitcoin-backed bond. Because now is a great time to buy. Admit it. Wait, you were going to buy 109,000? What are you, crazy? I was crazy. I bought at those prices. But yeah, Nobody would have seen this coming. So there you go. JP Morgan says Bitcoin has become a tradable macro asset and it could reach $240,000 per Bitcoin. Oh, now we're suddenly so bullish on Bitcoin. Continue to close bank accounts tied to crypto. The hypocrisy. Do you guys even trust JP Morgan at this point anymore? Not to catch a defamation lawsuit or anything, but this is suspicious. They've closed another bank account, this one belonging to an employee of Shapeshift. Did I talk about this one before? I don't think so, no. The bank first closed his business account, then told him that his personal account was next. Who is the... Oh, it's an employee of Shapeshift. What is this? Like, get what I need from here. Shapeshift. Trading, tracking, earning crypto effortlessly. So it is, yeah, real company. A cryptocurrency exchange. Never heard of it, but there you go. A representative said the bank was discontinuing business with him in order to protect the financial institution of Chase. This comes after the closure of Strike CEO Jack Mallers' account this month, which we talked about. On the flip side, JP Morgan remains bullish on Bitcoin, predicting 240,000 for it. They're bullish on crypto, but on their terms? Yeah. So they did it. They filed a 3-year structured note on BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. Like I said, it'll take us till 2028. The part that everyone's missing, 2 weeks ago, JP Morgan recycled an old delisting FUD note on MicroStrategy. They hiked MicroStrategy margin requirements. Some of this is repeat information, I know, and pushed on the S&P to keep MicroStrategy out of the index. That was a huge one, and I've talked about that one in the past before, which helped trigger a 35% crash in Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. My MicroStrategy position, by the way, I do have it. It is far down, way too far down. Recoverable, but it's going to be rough. All this FUD that MicroStrategy suffered, it's going to be rough to kind of recover from it. We need Bitcoin to make some Olympic moves in order to see MicroStrategy do well. At the exact bottom, on November 25th, they quietly rolled out their own Bitcoin product, classic Wall Street playbook. Spread FUD, crash the assets, scare the plebs like you scoop the dip with new products and collect fat fees on the way up. I didn't mean you, by the way. I'm the pleb here. I lost actual money on this. The real bull run starts once they finish shaking the tree. Okay, pal. We'll see. By the way, did MicroStrategy buy any Bitcoin last week during the sell-off? I don't think they did. I really don't think they did they? Strategy. They should have posted it. I don't remember covering this on Monday. And I remember talking about it on Sunday, saying that the day after, Monday, we were going to get BitMine and MicroStrategy buys. November 20. Oh, dude, I'm far back. I don't think they actually bought. When was Monday again? Would have been 24th. Okay. Did Sailor say something? Because usually he posts the chart. He didn't buy last week, dude. 13 hours, November 25. Yeah, these are just charts. Did you hodl this week? Yeah, we all did. Won't back down, but you won't buy Bitcoin. I mean, give them a break. They bought 800 million on last week, the week before rather. But this past week, they didn't buy Bitcoin. Impressive. Okay. At these low prices, okay, MicroStrategy. You should have bought. Shame. They ran out of money for real. So, to put the cherry on top of it all, to put the subject to rest, JP Morgan now thinks that we are going to be getting a December Fed rate cut after a dovish shift in Fed speak. They flipped on us again. And they were one of the few, I don't remember if it was JP Morgan specifically, but it was one of the big banks saying that, yeah, we do not expect rate cuts to happen for this year, for December. And they were wrong. They've changed their mind already. Fed officials have been sounding softer all week, talking like inflation's cooling and hinting that they might not need to keep the rates this high. Markets picked up on it instantly, and now even JP Morgan is changing its call. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was JP Morgan that called for no Fed interest rate cut for December. Now they changed their mind. I was always like, yes, we will be getting a rate cut for December. Who knows? We don't know until it actually happens, but in my mind, I've already priced this in. But people were pricing in the fact that we were not going to get a rate cut, and that's why we've been dropping. But now things have turned around. What's this guy's name? Fed Waller? Waller, right? He's been pretty bullish on, not bullish, dovish, I should say. We're talking about the Fed here. On the fact that, yeah, we should expect rate cuts for December. So that guy's on our side. I have a Fed Williams, Fed Moran, Fed Waller. Those are our guys. We have guaranteed rate cut votes from them, so that should be good. When big banks move this fast, it usually means something real is shifting under the surface, and Bitcoin tends to sniff it out before everyone else. Okay. Hey, so be it. But give me a drop first. I'm probably not going to get the drop I want, honestly, because it's me versus the market. It's not going to do what I want. We're just going to rise to 100k from here, and I'll be upset that I sold. That I got liquidated here, and then I sold spot over here at a loss to try to buy again the perfect price. Dude, who knows? Whatever. I have the altcoins on my side. Not looking pretty, but they're on my side nonetheless. And I'm sure altcoins will start doing better now. We didn't see the Bitcoin dominance rise, so that's been good. People are trusting. They would rather hold their altcoins or stable coins rather than Bitcoin. Or maybe just, it was Bitcoin. The sell-off was so strong on Bitcoin. That seems to be what happened with JP Morgan and their FUD and all that. Remember the AI bubble? November 20th, widespread calls emerged that the AI bubble has popped. By November 21st, the S&P 500 erased $2 trillion in market cap. Today, 3 days later, trading days, S&P 500 is now up 300 points since the low. Market cap is now $600 billion higher than it was on November 20th, when the AI bubble popped. Those who sold in the fear are being left behind. Own assets are being left behind. Is this an all-time high for S&P 500? If it is, Bitcoin is lacking. You're better off just investing in the stock market. No, we're not there yet. Okay. We're close, though. Almost, wait, it's really 7,000? Okay, 7,000. We can hit our all-time high in the S&P 500. We shall see. A huge issue has been with, well, recently in past days, people being scared to hold Nvidia and would rather hold Google because of this new partnership that was announced. Not really partnership, I don't know. We'll go through it. Nvidia set to lose $180 billion as Meta considers Google chips. Meta is evaluating Google's AI chips, TPUs, for its data centers starting in 2027. That's 2 years from now, 1 year. They may rent them through Google Cloud next year. Okay. The information reports. Nvidia shares fell 4.1% pre-market on the news, putting it on track to lose about $180 billion in market value. That happened already. Alphabet stock jumped 4%, that's Google, nearing a $4 trillion valuation. Google is on the rise in market cap value. A deal with Meta would be a major boost for Google's AI chip strategy and a rare shift away from Nvidia. Broadcom shares also rose, which benefit from the broader AI infrastructure momentum. I just hope Meta rises as well from all this, but it seems like they're going to be the one that pushes things higher for Google. Even still, we're not even past Apple. That is crazy. Remember when Apple and Alphabet, yeah, Google, they were about 2 trillion market cap, and then Nvidia was 5 trillion. Nvidia was larger than Google and Apple combined at one point. That was pretty cool. Still 30 trillion, almost 29 trillion for gold market cap. And Bitcoin, man, we used to be hand in hand with Amazon. And silver, we were higher than silver at one point, but they're more popular than Bitcoin right now. Fair enough. Dude, we're right in between like Broadcom and Meta for Bitcoin's market cap. Pick up the slack. And anyways, for damage control, Nvidia posted this saying, hey guys, don't worry about this whole Google stuff. We're delighted to see Google's success. They've made great advances in AI, and we continue to supply to Google. Nvidia is a generation ahead of the industry. just reassuring, like, guys, don't worry, we're still top of the game. It's cute what Google is doing, but we're the big guys here. We're the ones wearing the pants in this household. It is the only platform that runs every AI model and does it everywhere computing is done. NVIDIA offers great performance, versatility, and fungibility than ASICs, which are designed for specific AI frameworks or functions. Copium, maybe. Klarna USD, a new stablecoin that came out. Hooray, this is our, like, 20th stablecoin this year or something. Every fintech company has their own stablecoin. Klarna has Klarna USD. Stripe payments with Bridge, they're using USDB. PayPal, Pi USD, which solved the global financial crisis at one point for 20 minutes. They minted, what was it, 300 trillion USD, and then burned it immediately after. Shame. You could have just paid off the US debt and given us all a $1 billion dividend. Oh, that math doesn't add. A couple million, okay? We would have been happier. No, I'm sure everything else's prices would have risen. It would have been this mass inflation event and something we could probably never recover from. If that actual money did flow into the hands of people, so. First Serve, I never heard of that. Phi USD. Cloudflare. Is this real? Cloudflare came up with a stablecoin called Net. Does it even exist yet? Net. Next. No. Yeah, it's not out yet. Why is Canton here still? Thought this project would die. Well, it's still kicking. It's more than BitTensor. Why? Okay, forget it. Yeah, Klarna stablecoin. There you go. First bank to launch on Tempo blockchain. This is the blockchain, right? Yeah. The payments blockchain by Stripe and Paradigm. Oh, okay. So Stripe, Bridge. Is this what? Does this exist yet? USDB. Terrible names, by the way. I guess it does. Stripe, about. Who? It's backed by Bitcoin. Okay, we'll see. I don't know if I fully trust fully decentralized stablecoins anymore after seeing what happened with Athena. I'm not crazy, right? You guys saw that too. USDE, just to like kind of cover my tracks over here. What is this? No, it's not this. Did they erase it from history? Yeah, they erased it. Scum. Why? Why would you do that? Surely I could find it on TradingView, right? USDE / USDT. Can I find this? Nope. Yes, we can find it. Yeah, so that's the stablecoin stuff. What is this DPEG? Okay, 99 cents is forgivable. Was this October 10? That is fake. No, we surely dropped a lot more lower than that. I saw it. It dropped to like 60 cents, okay? Believe me. USD Athena. I don't know if I trust it anymore. The whole Athena project. I accidentally closed my trading platform. Okay. What else we got? Texas became the first US state to buy Bitcoin. They put $10 million in on November 20th at roughly $87,000 entry price. Come on, man. You could have bought it at $80,000. What are you doing? Hey, it's fine. $87,000. They're planning to do it for long term. So finally, we're seeing some states actually put some money in to Bitcoin. Texas was one of the few states that have Bitcoin reserves approved, and now they're buying. So there you go. Ideally, they could use their rainy day funds to purchase about 259,000 Bitcoins. Like, that's ever going to happen, but the possibility is there. Arizona also has that approved, and New Hampshire. Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Pennsylvania have rejected Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. The ones in blue are the states where it's been proposed, and Utah is still in progress. There's your annual update on the few times that I whip out that map, but there you go. Glad for Texas, but only 10 million? Come on. Come on, you got more in you. It's a couple of Bitcoins, so that's fine. Kraken, I teased this on Monday, the fact that on Tuesday they would be releasing something, and they did. They released a new debit card and money app. The Crack card. Okay. I don't know if I like that name, but sure. 400 plus currencies, cash and crypto, fee-free spending. I'm pretty sure that's a normal thing. 1% cash back on every spend. That's pretty pathetic. Crack. There's literally okay. Sure, dude. Okay, well, good for them. Is it metal? This MasterCard? It looks like it's metal. Could be plastic, I don't know. Available in Europe only. Okay, that's boring. Come on. Only Europe? Why Europe? They're the people that hate crypto the most. Grayscale also files for S3. Zcash ETF. Let's go. I don't know. Zcash. What are we going to do with Zcash, fellers? It's already done its rise. Does it have any more in it to continue rising? Oh, we flipped the trend to the red. That's not good. But fair enough. We've had a huge rise for Zcash, so do I have no analysis on this? Let me go USDC. Oh, that's even worse. Okay, well, I guess I just recently came up with the USDC version. This is why I prefer USDT, and I think I will start using USDT again. Like I said, on my free time, I will change all of these to USDT. I still have some here because they don't have a USDC option. Like Hyperliquid, I can't trade with Circle pairs or BitTensor, so those are in USDT. But the rest, like, come on, I can do that. Okay. That should be it for tonight then. That's all the news I had. What else should we expect? So Bitcoin, seems like we did slow down where I've kind of managed to draw this area out. What was our high? 91,838. Don't rule out the fact that it can't continue rising. It absolutely can. But this is where I'm expecting things to kind of slow down at least. And maybe even start dropping. How low we're going to go, I don't know for sure. Probably going to stay above 87. If I had to truly guess, like a gun pointed to my head, life on the line, where is Bitcoin going to drop? Maybe 87 from here. Maybe we'll just stay in the channel and continue going higher. And then break out of this downtrend and continue up to 95,000. Could be. Speaking of channel, make sure you subscribe to it. And I will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Really close to 500, by the way. 5 subscribers away. Just do it, guys. Come on. Please.